Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today, I'll be reading a Kyojuro Rengoku by Dude and Duchess on Tumblr. So let's get into it. Kyo, are you ready to go? Mine called over her shoulder as she momentarily looked up from fixing the front of her dress in the mirror. It was Father's Day, and she had promised her own father that she would come to visit with her husband, all so they could celebrate it together, which explained why she had dressed up more than usual. Are you sure you can stay at home? Her aforementioned husband answered, poking his head into the bedroom as a pout made its way onto his lips. Kyojuro couldn't deny that his wife looked extremely beautiful in her dress, and there was nothing more in the world that he wanted than to drag her to their bed and keep her there for the better part of the day. Alas, she seemed so down about seeing her father that he did not have the heart to say no to her. After all, they already went to see Cinder the other day. It was only fair that he went with her as well. Instantly, the young woman's eyes shot over to connect with his, through the mirror, narrowing into suspicious lips that had the blunt feeling a bit warm under the collar. Why? One word was enough to have him raising his hands up to his chest as he walked into the room. It's not that I don't like your dad. Then why don't you want to see him? At that, my aunt turned on her heel to face Kyojuro, even going as far as to place a hand on her hip as she quirked an eyebrow at him. Silence stretched between the couple for a while. After that, until the young man sighed and ran his hands down his face. Look, baby. Your dad doesn't like me, baby. And he owns guns. He emphasized the last word, as if doing so would get his point across to her. Unfortunately for him, though, it didn't. Not at all. Of course he'd have a gun. He needs it for his job. What are you saying, Kyo? Of course you wouldn't be afraid of the gun. Well, he was her dad. She would never be afraid of the gun. Only Kyojuro. But, baby, does he have to have it always out when you visit? He was outright whining at this point, but he couldn't care less anymore. He had to air out his own worries. It's like he's going to shoot my head off. Wine tried so hard to stifle it, but inevitably, a giggle will pray for my lips at that. Leave it to her husband to not censor his words ever. Still, she took mercy on him and crossed the room in a few strides, wrapping her arms around his middle and pressing a chaste kiss to his lips. All right, I'll be sure to have a talk with him, okay? He didn't reply verbally immediately at that, instead, choosing to nod and press his lips to her forehead, drilling down to kiss her eyelids, her cheeks, and eventually her own lips, before speaking. I still want to have babies with you, you know? Instantly, Mayan's eyes flew open at that, as she felt her heart race inside her chest. Even the butterflies she felt in her stomach would not cease at all, because it was finally the perfect time to come clean to him. She then pulled away from Kyojuro, drilling her hands up to his chest, and picking off a piece of thread from his button-down. So, about that, her eyes flickered up to his at that point. After pointedly looking at his lips for a while, is something wrong, baby? The concern was palpable in her husband's voice, and she felt so bad. At making him worry needlessly, when really, she was just so nervous about telling him because she didn't know how he'd react. To be honest, she didn't even know if she was nervous. She shouldn't be, at all, because Kyojuro was the nicest man there is. But she couldn't help it. She just was. No, love, no. Everything's fine. Everything's great, actually. The young woman grinned at that, before taking a deep breath and admitting, it's just, well, happy Father's Day, Kyo. I know you call me daddy in bed, but baby, I. He couldn't continue his sentence after that, since his wife slapped a hand over his mouth as she tried to damp down the vibrant blush that colored her cheeks. No, that's not it. You're gonna. I'm pregnant. Kelly just stood there, wide eyed, and a little dumbfounded as he let her words sink in. He understood what they meant, but it was as if he was having another floundering moment, like a fish out of water. There was nothing but silence between them, until he finally found his control over his limbs, picking his wife up in a hug, and even twirling her around in his happiness. You're pregnant? The villain yelled, completely joyous as he set his wife down on her feet, cupping her face in his hands, and slanting his lips over hers in a fierce kiss that, admittedly, took his breath away. We're gonna have a baby, my own. I'm gonna be a dad. His happiness was so infectious that even Wayan found herself buzzing with so much energy as she nodded along to his loud ramblings. And then he had her back in a tight hug, pressing his lips to her forehead in an affectionate kiss, before whispering in a soft voice that was so at odds with his prior energy. Thank you, Wayan, for making me the luckiest and happiest man alive. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I hope you enjoyed listening to this as much as I did making it. Anyway, goodbye.